Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads and welcome to my Scribd recommendations. um, it is Sunday today if you're interested, and I have been vlogging the owls and participating in the owls, and I wanted to film a video but I wasn't sure what to film it on because I haven't got any of my usual books because I'm locked down with my boyfriend, so I've only got books that I haven't read or have recently read. But all the books I've recently read are things like The Princess Diaries, and I haven't got anything further back than when lockdown started anyway. So I haven't got much to talk about here without showing you books. I can't do recommendations as such. I know I can do it, but sometimes it's hard to sort of visualize my bookshelves and such without being here, without having them here. So I really wanted to film a video, and I thought, as Scribd are offering a 30-day free trial, I don't think you have to put your card details in and stuff, because I use Scribd. I'm a regular Scribd user. I thought I'd talk about some of the books that I've read that are on Scribd, and I think Scribd's a really interesting subscription service because I use Audible as well, but at the moment I've been using Scribd a lot. Obviously I feel like this goes without saying that it's not an ad, because I've got like 90 subscribers, but it's not the point. You guys need to know this. Yeah, so I use Scribd a lot. It's basically, if you haven't heard of it, it is a audiobook slash ebook. They do ebooks on there as well, subscription service. And with Audible you pay £7.99 I think, and you get 1 credit a month which can be used against one audiobook, and you can buy more credits or save your credits, etc. However, with Scribd you can read as much as you want. However, it's not an unlimited list of books. There's certain books on it, and not everything's on there. There's quite a lot on there, but not everything is on there. And I find the thing is with Scribd, I mostly listen. I don't think I've actually even used any of the ebooks yet. I am getting more into that, but I haven't used any of them so far. The thing is with the audiobooks on there is they're so because you're not paying for them individually. I will listen to shorter ebooks, audiobooks on there, because with Audible I want to try and make the most of my £7.99, whereas I pay £8.99, and as long as I read a couple of books on there a month, I'm sort of fine with that, how much I pay. I mean, it goes through phases where I think I went for a couple of months ago where I thought about deleting it, and then all of a sudden I had a resurgence. But what I did was I scrolled on the app and I've basically noted down some of the books I've read, and I thought might be interesting to talk to you about. They're very different to the books I will buy physical copies of or look for physical copies of in the library, or things that I would get from proofs, etc. They're very they're just different. It's a wider range of books, so let's get into the books. The first book I've put is a really interesting one in terms of my reading tastes. It's called Decluttering at the Speed of Light, and it's written by Dana K. White, and her Instagram handle is A Slob Comes Clean. And the reason I picked this up or put my earphones in and listened to it was because I'm such a hoarder. I've got so much rubbish and things that I need to clear through, and maybe about a month and a half ago I was really going through, I need to start cleaning everything, and I was thinking, I'll listen to one of those audiobooks. I was thinking of something like Girl Wash Your Face, or maybe even The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And so I saw this and it looked like those, but more relaxed and more informal, the way in its approach. And it's just a step about decluttering. She's got a few other books, a couple about cleaning and home management and things like that, but they haven't really appealed to me in the sense that I don't own my own home. I don't have my own home. I just sort of help when I can, so it's more not the whole management aspect wasn't really appealing to me, even though I think I would listen to it anyway because I really liked her narrative style, or not narrative, I like the way she told her ideas and her clean process and things like that. So yeah, she has a few steps that you can follow that are really interesting, but I listened to it all and I spent the whole day just sorting things out in my room, and it was useful, it was interesting. I didn't follow everything the exact way she did it, but I found it was really motivational whilst I was doing it, and I definitely really enjoyed it and would recommend it. But I would never ever have thought to pick something like that up before, and I probably wouldn't have paid for it. I would now because I know that I enjoyed it and I would recommend it to certain people in my life, but I wouldn't have bought it, which is really sad to say because I would never have thought that something like that would be beneficial. But it was, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, it's just a way in which Scribd has allowed me to read something that I wouldn't normally. The second on my list, I've got The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. And I reread this, so I re-listened to this and A Magician's Nephew. Magician's Nephew is the first one, and it's my favourite of the series that I read when I was a kid. I loved these when I was a kid. I absolutely adored the Chronicles of Narnia. I thought they were brilliant, and I still think they're really interesting, a wonderful world. But upon re-listening to them, I was very, very shocked at some of the stereotypes. I can't remember if there was one thing in there that really shocked me, some real outright, I can't remember if it was sexism or racism, but it was so blatant, I was kind of disgusted. I can't remember what it was though because it was a few months ago that I read this. I'm sure I've noted it down somewhere, but I can't find it. And I've been toying whether to carry on in the series to listen, but I'm not at the moment whether I will or not. I might just have a look online to see how things progress in the series, if there's much more of it. But it's interesting to note the Christianity aspects of it that I just went over my head as a kid because I thought it was normal. Because when I was a kid at school, we used to obviously just treat God and Christianity as if it was the done thing, and even if we weren't like Christian, come from a traditionally Christian family, it was just something that you believed was true, which is really bizarre to me now. But this is another thing, I'm really, really interested in religion. I find it so interesting. So that's another reason I want to carry on, but I'm not 100% sure because of the comments and the things that I experienced. So I don't know if maybe I'll try one more and then see how I get on, but you'll see. The third book is The Crepes of Wrath by Sarah Fox, and this was my first cozy mystery, and I've only listened to two cozy mysteries, and they were both from this series. I'm waiting for the third one to become available on Scribd because it says coming soon, 14th, and they were really enjoyable. It's the Pancake House trilogy, or the Pancake House series, sorry. There's 3 available on Scribd. And I just think there's something about a cozy mystery that I really like. If you're not familiar with the genre, it's just kind of like a crime that feels very cozy. They tend to be very predictable, I believe. They're quite like the titles all have puns in. There's usually a little underlying romance. It's all very cozy. It's very like Hallmark Channel 5 evening films, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you're from the UK and Channel 5 films, but it feels very Channel 5-y. The films that they show on Channel 5 that I used to watch when I was like a kid, when I come home from school, because they used to be on from sort of like 3 till 5, and I used to always catch the end of them. And yeah, so they feel very cozy and relaxed. Often I found this one particular to be quite unproblematic. It wasn't the greatest writing I've ever read, it wasn't the greatest crime I've ever read, but I was really interested and I was engaged. So yeah, that's a good thing, I suppose. Yeah, so I really, really, really liked reading that. Yeah, so that's that one. I liked that one. The next one is I could gush for ages about, but the next one I read was To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han, and I read this because me and my boyfriend watched the Netflix film, the first film, and then the second film the following evening, and I was obsessed with the story. I was there, I was in with the teen drama. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was pretty interesting, funny, quirky, really cute. I was in love with Peter Kavinsky, obviously, and it gives me those vibes that kind of Riverdale gives me in a different way. So the reason I loved Riverdale when I first started watching it is because it just gave me those feelings that I used to get like from Twilight when I was a teenager, those excited fangirl feelings that I just missed, and I loved it. I really loved it. I thought it was really interesting in terms of the story. And if you don't know about the story, it is basically about a lovely young girl called Laura Jean, and she's written letters to 5 boys in her short life. She's only 15, 16, I think. And she has written letters to boys that she has loved, as like she writes them to like close the chapter, and to like close her feelings down, and it's like a process for her, and she's hidden them and then they get sent out, all of them. And yeah, so that's how the story develops, and I just thought it was really cute, the film, and then the book. So then I listened to the audiobooks and listened to all 3. So I had watched the first 2 films because there's 2 films out on Netflix, one to come for the trilogy. I watched the first 2 before reading the first 2, but I still didn't take anything away from the books for me. And I watched these films, and as Tom said, do you mind watching them? Are you gonna want to read the book first or whatever? And I said, nah, I probably won't ever read it. And as soon as I finished the second one, I was like, I've got to know what happens now, so I've got to read the trilogy. And thankfully they're available on Scribd to obviously save me money, which was great. And just I thoroughly enjoyed. I was obsessed with listening to them. I read those like 2 weeks ago, and I read them really quick, and it was the most I've read anything in ages. Just I absolutely consumed them. I was engulfed by them. One that I listened to recently again but has become unavailable for some reason, but I think it is still available. I'm not entirely sure if it's currently available, but it says it would, if it's not currently available, I think it's on the coming soon, which the next drop of loads of new titles is on the 14th of April, so that's pretty soon. It's Girl by Edna O'Brien, and this story was so brilliantly written. I absolutely adored the writing in this. I think it translated really well through audio. I found the whole thing really gut-wrenching, and I think if I pronounce this correctly, or if I'll double check and I'll leave a little note if I've massively effed it up, but it's about the girls from Boko Haram who were the schoolgirls who were all abducted and in Africa, and it was just horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous, but I really enjoyed the writing. I really felt I was really present in the story, because sometimes with audiobooks, sometimes I like to read things that are a little less, not less, like things where you are present but the writing's really easy to follow along with, not too flowery, for example, or descriptive, because I wouldn't say this was flowery, it was descriptive. But I really enjoyed the writing, and yeah, I'm glad I read it, really glad I read it. So that was definitely one I'd recommend. And then another one, more cheerful, is the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire, and I listened to the whole thing on Scribd. I started it last year. I've been waiting for the new one to come out, and as soon as the new one was out, I listened to it straight away. It was so good. I love this series. It's about kids who find doors, and they go through their doors and they end up in a fairyland realm, and there's different types of fairyland realms. They go on sort of like a compass. I believe you've got nonsense. Oh, what else is there? I can't remember any of the other, but there's sort of like 4 points of compass of different types of fairyland worlds, and there's all different, and all kids walk into different worlds. We've got Jack and Jill in this one, in this series, and loads of other different things. And the focal point of the series is Eleanor West's home for wayward children, and people who've come back from their fairyland, their worlds, and are deeply unhappy in their normal lives go here to be surrounded with people who understand. They may not have been to the same world as them, everybody's world is different, but they understand the plight of being in the wrong life. It's very inclusive, this series, so much LGBTQ plus representation, body positivity, everything is just, I really enjoy that level of it. It's so inclusive, and I just really enjoy the whole thing. All 6 books or so, I think it is. Each book, they sort of cross over, but they're not directly following on, but it makes sense to read them in order, because otherwise there are things that get missed out. Yeah, so I really like those series. I'm trying to think, did he write anything about it? But yeah, I really enjoy that series, and I think it's really interesting. They're really short. I love it. Yeah, that's probably one of the best things I've ever read on Scribd, and I read the whole thing. So yeah, that's good. Another one, my last one that I've got to add, is they've got quite a few classics on there. I re-listened to Pride and Prejudice this January. I wasn't very well at the time, so I re-listened to Pride and Prejudice when I was fancying reading Pride and Prejudice. I was going to read some retellings and extended versions that are coming out at the moment, but I just never got round to it. So I was going to prepare for that, but we listened to it, and it was a really nice way to listen to one of my favourite classics. Yeah, so that's that. That's all my things that I've read. I think they're the things that I've read on it this year. Obviously the first books in the Wayward Children series were last year, but I could not mention them as a whole. So yeah, I really do enjoy using Scribd. I think it's a really interesting way of consuming books, and quite if you've got the money to spare, I think it can save you money if there are lots of things on there you want to listen to. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy at this worrying time, and if you want to chat in the comments about any of the books that I've mentioned, please do. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, do the usual stuff, that's fine too. Take care guys, bye.